Live from the Export Beer Garden studios, this is the Agenda podcast for the 29th of February.
The Agenda, an alternative commentary collective podcast.
G'day there, welcome along to the Agenda podcast. Myself, G Lane, and Matt Heath on a leap day.
Yeah, this one happened again for 4 years. Hey, when this last was a leap day, was that in 2020? Must have been. So were we locked down for that last leap day?
I don't know.
That would have been a shitter if you're locked down for one in every 4 years. You get to have a party and you were locked down.
I've never heard so much chat about a leap day.
Well, in commercial radio, like for the Matt and Jerry show, we'll jump on any piece of content we can wrap around.
There was a lot of leap day chat.
It's a lot of leap day chat.
A lot of leap day chat.
Yeah.
But we are going to have a wee truncated agenda podcast today because we have the first ball of the first test from the Basin Reserve kicking off in just over an hour of recording this. So we preview now what, Matt Heath, what do the Black Caps need to do to win this game?
Definitely take catches.
That would help.
Definitely not drop catches like they've been dropping catches lately.
Yeah, the Weenet curse, they're calling it.
I don't know, there's a lot of pressure put on the toss, isn't there, around this game because as you've just pointed out to me, the wicket looks the same as the outfield.
Yeah, there's not the only difference between the outfield and the wicket is some lines and slightly shorter cut.
But there's nothing worse than winning the toss and sending Australia into bat and then they're 89 for no wickets. That's almost more demoralising.
I know. It's terrifying.
It's kind of better to be sent in than to not have not get the value from your win. I'm
taking a little bit of hope, a little bit of optimism around Australia's top four.
Yeah, I think they're a terrifying bowling team, but they're not the greatest Australian batting lineup.
No,
but they're pretty ropey in parts actually.
Yeah, most of them are out of nick. I mean, apart from Travis Head.
Yeah,
Labuschagne and Steve Smith have struggled in the last wee while. But then again, you look at our bowling stocks, and we've got Matt Henry and Tim Southey are the ones with real experience.
Yeah,
and then we've got young Will O'Rourke in his second test will be against Australia.
Because back in the winning the Test Championship, we had such a varied attack, left and right armour to open. Then you got Gulliver coming in on a totally different line, and then when you got round to Wagner just pesting you with those left arm short deliveries. It was such a freaking terrifyingly varied attack.
I know.
And now we've kind of got a very similar attack.
Kind of. But I look at the New Zealand India.
Yeah.
On the wall we have the scorecard of that World Test Championship, and you're right. We opened up with Bolt and Southey.
Yeah.
Great. And then on come Gulliver.
Yeah.
And then when you're sick of that, you're right. We had Wagner come in.
Yeah.
And then we also had the minute piece.
Yes.
So he would come and pest around with
and people would go, the slow little loopy ass delivery, and he'd get wickets because people are like, I've got to target this guy.
Yeah.
And then,
And so, look, I mean,
would they bowl for that kind of minute piece situation? Would they bowl Daryl Mitchell? Because he can bowl some sort of loopy, sort of swinging sort of wounders, can't he?
Yeah, he's coming back from a leg injury though. So, and I haven't seen him bowl all season.
Yeah.
So
is it a mistake? Do you think not having Wagner is a mistake? Because he's been very good against Australia.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the inside of that is. Obviously, he got told he wasn't going to be picked for this test and released for the second.
Well, they'll be operating in an area of uncertainty with Scott Kugelheim, wouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. The spicy jalapeno, that just a little...
It's a PR situation.
Yeah.
I reckon not having Wagner and then going for SK, I'm not sure. If you'd win the hearts and minds of the nation with that one. I'm not going to go too deep into it.
That's right. You got Satner. I think the decision is between Satner or the spicy jalapeno.
I'd go Satner.
Yeah. I think you would go Satner, but then you look at the pitch and you go,
ooh.
So it's going to be an interesting call, and like cricket does, you won't know the team until just before the toss.
Would it kill Devon Conway not to be injured?
Oh my God.
Have not injured himself in that depressing T20?
What's wrong with him and his hands? Because remember he punched his bat during the T20 World Cup and broke his hand?
Yeah.
And we didn't have him for the final.
I overheard someone saying we shouldn't have your batsman that's that important behind the stumps for the risk of damaging his hand. But then I thought, no, that doesn't make sense because you can damage your hand anywhere in the field. In fact, you've got your gloves on. I mean, how often do wicketkeepers damage their thumbs? Not often.
Yeah, so Kane Williamson's back, though. He's welcomed in his third baby.
Real rooter, isn't he?
Yeah, but only his babies have coincided with lockdown and 2 injury breaks.
Right.
So, a bit of time spent at home. But there was a suggestion that came through on 3236 during the last test match that potentially we give Kane Williamson 5 years off to put together an 11 of his spawn.
Oh.
So he just goes home and breeds as many possible. So we could maybe pull out a Williamson 11.
Yeah, well, maybe just the batting lineup.
Maybe the top 6.
Yeah, maybe top 6,
Yeah.
and one can roll his arm over because he's not going to be pulling out any kind of 6'4" pace bowlers. You wouldn't think.
That's true, actually. Well, we'll take the heat off him. He only has to. He just has to fart out.
He just has to produce the batting lineup.
What's the vibe, Matt Heath?
I'm terrified about this game. Like seriously terrified. I mean, Cum Dog, Pooh Bear,
Hazelwood.
And
then, hey, we can handle. We play spin so well, so Nathan Lyon will handle him easily.
I hate getting run over by Nathan Lyon. I just hate him so much.
Gary.
Oh, yeah, he's just such a horrible looking human being.
This is what we do, though, isn't it? We're Black Caps fans. I've got my Black Caps supporters support T-shirt on, which are now available back in the shop.
Yeah.
Restocked it with another 1,000.
Yeah. So if the Black Caps do hurt you today, then get that T-shirt and it will alleviate the pain.
That's right. And I'll be down in Wellington on Saturday morning to hold a Black Cap supporters support for emergency meeting at Shed 22 because we're going to host a bit of an ultra pre-game before the Saturday day 3 at Shed 22. It's only the only bar open in Wellington at 9 o'clock in the morning.
That's early. That's good.
It is. It's good. Well, you got to start early. The test match, if there's rain delays today, which looks like it's pesting around, the game will start at 10:30.
Yeah, right.
So you got to get there early. We've got free Dulux Steady the Ship hats to give away. We've commandeered the Shark Bus, the former Kelly Tarleton.
Is that down in Wellington now?
Yeah, it's now the Life Direct Shark Bus.
Wow.
So I'm going to be driving that.
Should have been good driving that down from Auckland to Wellington.
Yeah, I'm going to be driving that from Shed 22 to the Basin Reserve and back, doing shuttle runs of people from Shed 22. So
wow.
I'm looking forward to impaling the beak of the shark on a putakawa on the roundabout of.
Do you remember when we were over in Melbourne for the Boxing Day test, and you'd go to a bar first after day 1 to just sort of ease yourself in, and then you'd get to the ground later and later where you see what was happening. It's like, we just might stay here for another one before we head along to.
And then you see another wicket fall.
Just stay.
You've flown to Melbourne.
Yeah.
You've bought tickets. You've got accommodation, but you're too terrified to go to the ground to watch us get humped. I know exactly how you felt.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back in just a moment. Right, Super Rugby round 2's coming up, and already Matt Heath, your beloved Blues, they are in a rotation policy.
Yeah, what is going on with that?
I don't know.
I thought Finlay Christie was an excitement machine, and Rieko Ioane scored at least one try, didn't he?
Yeah, and you got Akira Ioane's coming in and rolling them out. I don't know, maybe they believe they've got a big enough depth.
They're tired after one game, or do they want to blood people? Well, it's not the pointy end of the season, but you want to get your wins on the board, don't you?
Well, it's against the Highlanders. So
that's disrespectful.
And also, this is Super Round as well, so they're all being played in Melbourne.
Yeah.
So there's some really strange kickoff times. Friday night is 8 p.m. and then on Saturday, the Crusaders versus the Retars is at 9:30 at night.
Wow.
And then the Chiefs the next day, and that is at 4 in the afternoon on a Sunday. So we're commentating all those games, but a bit strange. I don't know. Maybe it's the Highlanders. I'd say the Highlanders will be fired up about that. A sign of disrespect. I thought they played all right against Moana Pacifica.
Yeah, they played well.
Even though I called them the Islanders when they were playing Moana Pacifica, which caused me a little bit of grief.
That's confusing.
It was a little bit. And James McConey reminded me that about 10 years ago, he did actually write an article about the Highlanders, calling them, they may as well be called the Islanders.
Right.
Which he may well be cancelled for in the
was
future.
because of the lineup.
Yeah. So
right,
he may well be cancelled.
Yeah, well, let's cancel him.
Yeah, let's definitely cancel him. WARS news continues to come out. The NRL season starts in Las Vegas this weekend. Can't wait to see what comes out of the back of off-field misdemeanors on that one.
It'd be great to have access to all the CCTV footage around Las Vegas.
Oh.
I mean, what are they doing? Are they going to shackle all the players straight after the game?
Yep.
And lock them in their rooms?
Yeah, listen to the Mad Monday podcast. It's out today. Di Henwood has gone deep onto Reddit, deep into Australian media, because basically the Australian media they've used up all of their gas talking about Vegas and breaking. Now they've moved into player security and what's been done for player security. And some teams are like about 50 kilometres inland from Las Vegas at some sort of lake.
So player security as opposed to public security from the players.
Apparently, they've allocated 2 people per player. to monitor them. So, yeah, Di Henwood's got all the details on that. But
someone will end up weeing in their own mouth.
100%.
It'll take more than 2 security guards to stop
someone
people
will end
weeing
up
in their own mouth.
Someone's going to end up in the Bellagio fountain. We know that. So Paul Gallen has come out and said the Warriors are going to win the NRL this year. Is this officially the first time an Aussie has ever said that?
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. It's terrifying. I don't like that. I don't like him saying that.
No.
It's sort of added extra pressure to an already nervous kind of season.
We need to come from behind.
So what's his logic on that? I mean, like, I love it, but...
RTS?
Yep.
RTS coming back in. It's a fairly stable lineup. We haven't lost many big players.
Yeah.
We thought we'd lost Adam Fanua-Blake, but he stuck around for another year, so we got him for another year. And so I think that's the basis of it potentially. But I mean, I'm on the bandwagon. I'm still on the bandwagon. You haven't got off it, have you? No,
I'm well and truly on the bandwagon. I'm trying because the Matt and Jerry show, we're broadcasting live from Go Hard Stadium on the morning of opening day.
Oh, excellent! And the ACC are broadcasting live from the ground as well.
Yeah, we're all on the bandwagon. We should buy a bandwagon, rent a bandwagon for us to go out there on.
We should actually.
And actually park up a bandwagon.
What does the bandwagon look like?
Well, it's sort of a ye oldie situation where they're like a sort of a canvas.
Oh, is it like the people when they move towns, the miners move towns back in the old days?
Yeah, I think you got a horse pulling it, sort of like a horse and cart, and it's got sort of a
What'd be great?
I don't know. I mean, I'll look up a bandwagon actually, see how much they are.
What'd be great is if the Warriors are losing really badly in a game, and the bandwagon comes out, and you can jump off it. So everyone's just jumping off the bandwagon and flying out of the ground.
The bandwagon's just
circling.
A whole lot of bandwagons circling,
and everyone's jumping off,
jumping off, then jumping on. Okay, bandwagon image. Here we go. It's exciting for the viewers. Okay, so yeah,
it's
oh my God,
it's the ye oldie thing.
Oh Jesus,
because
we can't afford that. That's an elaborate.
That's an elaborate bandwagon.
Yeah, we have to have a shit bandwagon.
That's like some.
But they all look like that. They're all. That's what a bandwagon looks like. It's a very ornate operation.
Oh, that's like a public transport utility towed by horses, isn't it? It looks like a double-decker carriage towed by horses.
Yeah.
So it's a lot bigger than you think.
Yeah, but I like that idea. So there's just a bandwagon circling, and it's like the VIP experience because you're watching from multiple parts of the park, and you can jump on or jump off whenever the Sky try scored.
I reckon Motat would have one.
Yeah.
Motat would have one. The ministry, what is it?
That'd be great publicity for the ACC if there's a bandwagon's been stolen from Motat and then we get arrested on it.
Yeah. Come on. Get on. Come on, just get on.
A bandwagon's holding up traffic on the way to Penrose.
But also next week, because Hallensteins, who are obviously the partners of the ACC, are now going to be stocking official Warriors supporters kit once the season kicks off. So we're talking your hoodies and your T-shirts and your hats and whatnot. And we'll be coming live with the Mad Monday guys next Wednesday from Queen Street, Hallenstein. So check that out. Breakers. I don't know if you've been keeping an eye on the Breakers, Matt Heath, but a do-or-die match last night against the Kings.
And they won.
Did it.
So that means another Abercrombie bloody appearance.
Yeah, it does. So the last time they played the Kings, they suffered their biggest defeat of the year in kind of pool play earlier, but they came back and they beat the Kings 83-76. They came down from 13 points behind. Parker Jackson Cartwright, 34 points. They're now going to play Illawarra Hawks on Monday over there. And I'm always on the bandwagon with the Breakers because have you been to a couple of Breakers games?
Oh, I've been to a number. It's a great time.
It is a great time. And basketball, whether you love it or you hate it, in the next 10 years, it's going to take over your life. If you have small children, even the children that are going to grow up in the next 10 years, it's massive. Yeah. 60% of my kids' intermediate school play basketball.
Wow.
They have to have trials, and they've got like 13 teams.
Yeah.
At Westlake, they have 16 teams.
Yeah, wow.
They've got their own division within their school in the North Shore, which they play basketball.
Wow.
So it's going crazy. So I would just, you're going to have to lie back and think of England if you hate basketball because it's coming at you.
I love basketball.
Right, we'll take a quick break and we'll be back with Yours Please.
Yours Please, brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
Now, as always, we have the Yours Please function, which is a little microphone on your iHeart Radio app where people just press that, and I had quite a lot on your breakfast show on Radio Hodaki. I participate in it. Because you know what? I do it because you don't listen to any of my other messages I send you, and on your you record it. We play it Friday mornings.
Yeah, we have to play everything.
Yeah, so that's the only time I can get any sort of message across to you and Wells.
Yeah.
Because no one else answers their text messages, so I record it and you play it on air.
Yeah.
And it's like a public announcement just directed to two people.
It's career end of that one that you send it. We'll play it Fridays on the Matt and Jerry Show. It happens tomorrow between 6 and 7.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, whatever you say, I mean, it's a great way for our enemies to take us down.
It's a bit like...
I guess that's why you use it.
This is this segment here also is called...
Because we haven't heard these.
No,
yours, please.
we haven't. So
Yours, please.
Yours, please.
Could be anything.
Yeah, g'day fellas. It's Horatio Ringbinder here from Masterton. Just a question around the old Commentero gang. I see that Wags is retired. And I think as a bit of a psycho like he is, I thought he'd be a great member to patch up for the gang. And I was just wondering, who else would you like out of the realms of sport that you could get into prospect for you guys before earning their patch? Because there's a few psychos out there. All right, boys. See ya.
Thanks, Horatio Ringbinder. Yeah, this is the Commenteros. We designed it. I don't know if you're aware of this, Matt. But Mania Stewart designed up a patch with the Commenteros, and we've been struggling to find a place to actually produce it for us, because we go through the official channels when we go to these promotional companies, and they just basically either give us a wide berth or crickets. They don't even answer it.
Yeah, they don't want to be involved in making gang patches.
Nah. So anyway, we talked about that, and we're going to make the Mighty Missionary Mob one and give it to Sky, and just have some like really take the commentator kind of knife fight. But just look, Horatio, I'm not sure we're not actually looking to be a proper gang. We're not looking to do any violence. So we don't want any psychos in the Commenteros.
No.
Some good commentators, sure.
Yeah.
But
we could do with some good commentators.
Oh my God,
sure.
we could really
do with those. But psychos,
nah.
We've actually got a few psychos.
Yeah, we have actually.
Jason Hoyt.
We got enough.
If you get between him and his durries,
psycho. Him and his durries, or a sugar-free Red Bull.
Oh.
Don't get away with saying that. There's that combination there. But Wags is available, and I've approached Wags to play for us in the Dulux Tradies 11.
Oh, wow.
On March 15th, because he lives in Papamoor. Oh. So he lives down the road, and I just slipped into his DMs, and he slid back.
Ah.
But he slid back with a very non-committal, I'll see if I'm around. So I'm taking that as a maybe.
I've been loving this week watching Wags highlights that pop up.
Yeah.
And man, it's funny because you're celebrating this guy, and I freaking love him, and I'd love to be giving him a send-off. Not a send-off like he'd give someone, but playing, knowing that it's his last test. But his highlights are so psycho.
Oh.
Well, just absolutely torturing and pestering someone and berating them out.
Well, that's
so good.
That's what we need in the Tradies 11. We need him to come in on some of those tradies. Because we've been humped, for 4 or 5 years now?
Yeah.
And we need to change the script.
Yeah.
And potentially Wagner coming in from 50 metres and just bowling bumpers at these tradies.
Just right on the badge of the helmet.
Yeah, straight into Dino and everyone else, and Ribsy. Ribsy's injured.
Is Ribsy not playing?
And Ribsy's not playing.
Oh, geez.
So that's
a bit of an advantage for them.
That's good news for us. We've got a couple more yours, please. What's the next one? Yours, please.
And I want to tell you where the angry man touched me. His name is Neil Wagner, and he touched my heart. And supporting the Black Caps will never be the same without him.
Oh, it was an ode. I didn't know where that was going at the start, to be honest.
Do you think that New Zealand cricket knew how much New Zealanders loved Neil Wagner?
Nah, I don't think they did.
I think they haven't managed this very well. I mean, they managed Ross Taylor's retirement very, very carefully.
Oh, my God. That was the most stage-managed exit ever. To the point where it was like, oh, for fuck's sake, another one. Because I think he had a T20 one, a one-day one, and a test one. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think they knew what a cult figure Wagner was.
Yeah.
Because especially the way he harassed Australians, we really liked so having a guy harassing Australians, we loved him for it.
He was the only one, he's the only cricketer I can remember in my supporting lifetime that actually really got under their skin.
He really fucked them off.
Yeah, totally.
And someone was saying, who was it was saying why it was because he was bowling. It went that fast, his short delivery was so short, it was coming up such an annoying angle from a left armour. So skidding up at them.
Yeah.
And relentlessly and not giving a shit.
And grunting. And they're going, why is this difficult to play coming at 125 kilometres an hour?
And finally they'd go, like, there's that great dismissal of Steve Smith. We'd finally had enough. And he's going, I'm going to make an example of this guy. And then just gets caught.
Yeah, down the leg side.
Down the leg side. It's like,
How many wickets did he get at leg slip, leg gully, or caught by the keeper?
Yeah.
Remember the great one, Jimmy Anderson won the one down in
Top
the basin.
edge, bottom edges.
Yeah. Oh, great stuff. Okay, we've got one more of the yours, please. Yours, please.
G'day lads, Michael here from not in New Zealand anymore. I don't think this has been addressed yet, and I really think it needs to be. There's a couple of really wounding podcasters, well-known podcasters from Australia who are going to be in Christchurch.
Oh, yeah.
Are you going to do something about it? Come on, boys. Take one for the team, get one up for the country, and let's get up them. Come on, the Kiwis.
That's right. The Grade Cricketer guys coming down to Christchurch and doing a live show from down there.
Well, we should get them to bloody appear on our frickin' podcast.
Well, we should. We probably should actually.
Do a bloody thing.
Do a co-appearance. Co-pro. I think it's Thursday maybe down there, but I think they've got like a couple hundred people coming along to there. They do a good podcast, the Grade Cricketer. They don't get as many audience in New Zealand as the BYC. We looked at the pod ranker. BYC has about 3 times the audience.
Yeah, well, makes sense.
It does make sense, but
get on the bloody agenda.
They are interesting chaps. I like the way they've pivoted because they were very Australian.
Yeah.
And now they've pivoted and it's very smart and they've worked out that obviously the biggest market in the world, India.
Yeah.
So now they cover all the India games and they also cover the IPL and they do tours of India. And so they've gone down the full Simon Doull route of not overly criticising India, but trying to just, bring a bit of fun entertainment to Indian cricket. So even if they got 10%, 5%, 2% of the Indian cricket audience.
0.5%.
Yeah.
That's huge.
They're winning. So they've been quite clever about that.
They got a following in the UK?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, they have as well because they covered the Ashes.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, they are quite funny. They got involved in the Australian Cricket Awards and caused a little bit of controversy there when they were on the roving mic, which I enjoyed. We're not going to the New Zealand Cricket Awards, by the way.
You're not invited. You made the famous text message from Dan Vittoria to Jeremy Wells. Lane is a disgrace. How many years ago was that? Got into a fight with some cardboard stand-up.
They were in the
players.
way. They were in the way. Okay, I didn't realise he didn't exactly.
You fell in the shrubbery.
Vittori didn't cover himself in glory either, okay? He mistook a cloakroom where people's coats were for a urinal, okay, that same night.
That could happen to anyone. He is an absolute national treasure.
Also, he's blind, so he wouldn't have, he was blind and he was blind drunk. So, look, I wasn't the only one to disgrace myself. I just did mine a little more publicly than he did.
Yeah, didn't you get into that fight with the cardboard stand-ups on the red carpet?
Yes and no. It was called like Cricketer's Way or something, and they had all the cricketers amongst all these plants and shit. And I ended up.
One of them was looking at you funny, and the next thing you know, you get into an argument and then you take him out.
I was tangled up in all of the picket fencing, and I remember Laura McGoldrick, God bless her, put me in a taxi along with the former head of commercial, James Ware. I think he paid for the taxi as well because he just wanted me to get the fuck out of there. He was, I was a human wrecking ball that night.
You were a PR disaster worse than the treatment of Neil Wagner.
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, we're not going to that. It's in Christchurch this year, actually, the awards. It's the day after the day 5 of the Christchurch test. So, look, maybe I'll be invited back one day. But we mop up of the news as we do every day. Matt Heath, News Chub, has shut down. Should we get Mike McRoberts on commentary? You got anyone there we can poach?
He speaks one word at a time, though, Mike McRoberts.
I reckon we should get Paddy Gower.
Paddy Gower would be good.
Yeah.
He'd go off. Yeah.
He's a big cricket fan as well, Paddy Gower. So I think we should I'll tap him up and see if he's keen for some commentary.
Tap him up. Ryan Bridge.
Oh, Bridgie.
Yeah, old Bridgie.
Is he a cricket fan? Is he a sports fan?
I don't know. He's an Abraham Lincoln fan.
Do you need to be? I guess you don't need to be. I mean, Lee Hart wouldn't know anything about cricket or rugby or anything, but he's still comes on.
He just has a little drink and comes along. It's all good.
The Blink 182.
Sam Hayes?
Oh, Sam Hayes. Yes.
Very welcome.
Yep.
What else you got?
Blink 182 bassist and vocalist Mark Hoppus has been filmed saying, "Fuck Christchurch!" at the concert in Melbourne after the US band cancelled their highly anticipated concert in the Garden City just 2 weeks before the gig was meant to take place. A video uploaded to TikTok shows Hoppus ripping on Christchurch, saying, "To be honest, Sydney sucks so fucking bad we had to cancel Christchurch. Fuck Christchurch.
Yeah. Well, that's an ongoing thing for those guys, isn't it? They always absolutely abuse the last city they were in.
Yeah.
Those guys were fucking shit. You guys are amazing.
But Christchurch won't take this that way.
They're collateral damage, aren't they? And no, they won't. No.
Incoming, a mayor's retort. This is what normally happens. No. Yeah, that's what it's incoming. A mayor's retort.
No. The mayor of Oamaru had a good retort to someone recently.
That was to David Warner, saying we've got the best Mitre 10 in New Zealand. Sandpaper's fully stocked. When he criticised Oamaru for having not much going on.
Yeah. That's right, yeah.
So, incoming, I don't even know who the mayor is of Christchurch is, but incoming press release of a gag trying to have a go at Blink-182 when in reality, I don't give a fuck.
Is it still that knob Dalziel?
Yeah, it could be.
Is she still there?
I have no idea. Wasn't it Peter Sinclair?
It was Peter Sinclair at one point. Or Bob Parker.
I always get those two confused.
Was it
Peter Sinclair and Bob Parker?
Jason Gunn's the mayor of Christchurch, isn't it?
No, it's the Wizard. It's the Wizard.
Oh, the Wizard.
It's definitely the Wizard.
No one knows.
Okay, righto. That's the potty for today. Tune in today, 11 a.m. If you haven't listened to this a bit later, it's the test matches on for the next 5 days. iHeartRadio live. And
if you listen to this, stop listening to this and turn on the bloody cricket commentary.
Yeah, or don't, depending on the score. Maybe just check the score first.
Yeah, check the score.
And then continue listening to this and then maybe check in a bit later on.
All right.
Catch you then.
Okay then. You seem busy. All right.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast. For more episodes, subscribe on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.